Hello there, my friends. It's Tania Gabrielle, Wealth Astro-Numerologist. Welcome to Star Codes. This is the podcast where we look at an upcoming event in the astrology and numerology. In this case, the Pisces new moon that is so beautiful, so fortunate, amazing, intense, and we'll get right into it. It happens on February 28th Universal Time. That's 12:45 a.m. and that would be February 27th Eastern Time, 7:45 p.m. and Pacific Time in LA, 4:45 p.m. So this new moon is amazing because there are so many planets that are bunched together, both in Pisces and in early Aries. So we have the sun and moon at 9 degrees, which already is quite significant. Then we have Saturn, Mercury, Neptune also in Pisces, and then we have Venus in early Aries. So that's 6 planets lined up. Amazing. Of course, the sun isn't a planet, it's a star, but 6 light bodies. But this is extraordinary because it really lights up that area of the heavens. And what area is that? It's the final sign, Pisces, and the first sign, Aries. And as it happens, in the next couple months, we are seeing some epic events in those two signs as Neptune leaves Pisces, its own sign where it's been in for many, many years, and moves into the first sign of Aries. And then Saturn follows suit and leaves Pisces and moves into Aries as well. So this is a forecast really of coming events. It's really going to intensify the energy right around the end of February and moving into March. So we have a stellium of sun, moon at 9 degrees, and then Saturn, Mercury, Neptune, all in Pisces. And Pisces is about endings being the final sign. It does melt energy away. It dissolves energy. It's the sign of self-undoing with Saturn in there right now, really addressing anything to do with self-centeredness or egoic thinking or posturing. And so it dissolves structures as well. So old power centers that are dissolving. Remember that Neptune has been in Pisces for a few years now, and that's going to the end of its own sign. And that means it's even more potent because the final 2 degrees, called the critical degrees of any sign, are when it really gets intense. And we're going to experience that with all the slow moving planets since they're all changing signs by July. Really, that's a whole nother story, but we're going to focus now on the Pisces new moon. So 9 degrees is also about endings. 9 is the final single digit, and it does mean culminations, letting go, unconditional love, release, and bringing something to a close so that something new could be born. Amazingly, we are also in a 9 universal year, so that energy goes for the whole year. Now, there's a paradox here because new moons signify new beginnings, and it happens universal time on the 28th, which is also a number of new beginnings. 2 + 8 = 10, which equals 1. Of course, new moon is a fresh start to the lunar cycle. And with Pisces and the number 9 signifying completion and endings, the paradox is that we are letting go while we are also beginning. So we are seeing where we are heading in the process of letting go, what needs to be truly just shed and dissolved. And so the magic of this new moon is that as we're being asked to clear our space, we can call in new frequencies, new opportunities, and new wisdom, and energy and people that align more easily and more high vibrationally with us, that matches the awakening that is happening, the inner awakening and who you are becoming now. So it allows us, this paradox of endings, beginnings, to be conscious of what needs to end so that we can begin fresh. It really brings present moment awareness because it brings together the whole experience of ebb and flow into one moment. So to have all these planets lined up together, the sun, the moon, Saturn, Mercury, Neptune, Venus, in the first and last sign, and as they all then start moving into Aries as well. And by the way, Venus is going to be retrograding as well, as is Mercury, from Aries into Pisces, back and forth. So there's this whole ebb and flow between this final zodiac sign and first zodiac sign that is really coming into play. So it's very vivid this time, and you want to pay attention to your dreams. They may be especially prophetic. You know, Neptune and Pisces do represent prophecy, because Pisces is the sign that encompasses everything. It is pure water. Neptune rules the ocean. So water is the one element that can reach anywhere. There's no other element that can do that. So it reaches beyond, right? Similar to Jupiter, which also plays a big role. So let's move to Jupiter now. Why does Jupiter play such a big role? Well, if you look at the chart, you can see that Jupiter is at 12 degrees in Gemini. And that means Jupiter is creating a square to every one of these planets except Venus. With Venus, there's a sextile. So we'll move into that in a moment. So there is a quintuple square from Jupiter to the Sun and Moon and Mercury and Saturn and Neptune. And this is really powerful stuff, because Jupiter is the benefic, positive, expansion, joyful, abundance related planet. And that means that we are being called to tune into what makes us happy. So I know that's a cliche, but when you are happy just for the sake of appreciating the moment, it truly is a leap of faith into everything will be fine. That no matter what is happening, especially externally, we are okay. All is well. So it's a really extraordinary moment here where Jupiter is coming in and bringing blessings and bringing hope and bringing faith and happy, strong feelings and fortune and a sense of luck as well. And then, of course, Saturn is also playing a part. Saturn is stripping away sort of the identity consciousness, where when we identify with something, we tend to then be against that which does not identify. So all of that identity consciousness is also being addressed, and that is the dissolving of the ego, the stripping away of what is no longer necessary, just letting it go. So you can achieve a lot of cleansing around this time, and it's actually a wonderful time as we have this back and forth, to and fro between Pisces and Aries, to do a cleanse if you feel called to. It's also a great time with Saturn in the mix with the Sun and Moon to concentrate on something that really matters to you and move ahead with it. So what helps with that is that Mercury is conjunct Saturn as well in Pisces, which is absolutely beautiful because your analytical abilities are enhanced, and there is this connection to the Sun and Moon as well, where we have Mars trine Saturn, Mars trine Mercury, Mars trine the Sun and Moon, and that pushes you forward. It helps you to feel confident about your projects and give them a go. And remember that Mars at this point will be direct, Mars station direct on February 23rd. So it is going to move forward at this point. And that's a wonderful thing, because Mars retrograde does tend to hold back some energy, and now it will be in forward momentum. And with all these planets moving into Mars' sign of Aries, there's a real, again, paradoxical forward momentum, right, as some other planets are going retrograde, meaning Venus and Mercury. So there's so much energy that is complex, but yet the simple message is let go and see the beautiful view as a result. Like, clear the air, clear your thoughts, make things simple, and then enjoy the new life that is coming into play now. Finally, I want to mention Venus is sextile Jupiter, and this is extraordinary because Venus is literally the next day on March 1st going to station retrograde. And so that means this Venus retrograde will be actually quite fortunate because it begins with a sextile to Jupiter, and these are the two benefics in astrology, which means they're the two positive, uplifting planets of joy and abundance and good fortune. And so when Venus begins its retrograde, will be in Aries. It is there now, but then it's going to retrograde into Pisces at the end of March. And that's the sign Venus is exalted in. So here we have the Aries Pisces dynamic again. And with Venus, it's fantastic because when a planet is exalted, it feels wonderful. All its beautiful, positive qualities are even more enhanced. And so this retrograde, which begins March 1st and ends April 15th, is going to help us in many ways to navigate this shift that is happening, because spring in the northern hemisphere, fall in the southern hemisphere is really very big because of all the planetary movements from signs they've been in for a long, long time. These are planets that are called outer planets. They are the most slow-moving planets. They're all changing signs. And this is all happening and culminating in the spring. So Venus is a planet that epitomizes growth and beauty and love and abundance. And so this connection of the Venus-Jupiter sextile right as Venus stations retrograde and then Venus moves into Pisces, the sign of exaltation, is all good news. There's a lot of generosity, there's acceptance, there's good cheer, there's feeling good, there's feeling optimistic, having an expansive and very positive outlook, and being able to heal disharmony in yourself and, of course, in your relationships. And let's not forget, Venus and Jupiter are connected to financial flow, to abundance, to expansion, to pleasure. So this is really a wonderful period here during this Pisces new moon. I'll end by saying that the date, which is February 28th, 2025, that's the official time for this new moon, adds up to 21. 21 is the number of our century. We are in the 21st century. And 21 is a truly fortunate number. It represents truth and joy. And it reduces to 3, which is the number of self-expression and joy. So we have such joy and beauty with this Pisces new moon. Take advantage of it because there is, of course, a lot of upheaval energy, but there's a lot of adjustment energy. There is realignment energy as we navigate this shift from Pisces to Aries in the planets and from the Piscean age to the Aquarian age in terms of the big 2,000-year cycles. And behind this upheaval energy is peace and love and abundance and joy. So the upheaval is freeing our planet. The upheaval is lighting up the truth. Sometimes the truth, yes, it sets us free. Sometimes it's not appreciated because it is a surprise or it is a shock. But that is what we are dealing with endings, coming to terms with what it is maybe we have believed and that we now can much more easily release because of all these incredible Astro-Numerology codes. And with this strong Jupiter activation, this quintuple square to Jupiter, and squares to Jupiter are great because they're activating Jupiter. So squares are the connections between planets that are 90 degrees. They usually create tension, but the tension's there to activate. In this case, the tension, because it's a benefic, Jupiter, is very positive. And Jupiter governs long distance travel, aside from expansion and higher learning and wisdom, of course, and abundance. The long distance travel may appeal to you, and take advantage of it. And also, if you have the urge to move, even to a brand new area of the country you live in or a new area of the world, Jupiter governs that. So if you plan to travel, whether it is in the upcoming spring or summer, make sure you know your astrocartography, because the locations that you go to impact you. You have a map of your astrology birth chart that covers the whole world. And you may have noticed you feel better in certain areas, more relaxed, more at ease than other locations. So this astrocartography allows you to see the most fortunate places and the most challenging places for you to move to or to travel. And I have a wonderful free masterclass that'll tell you more about astrocartography, the power of fortunate places. You can watch it at positivelocations.com. We focus on the secret power of place, how your astrology birth chart is superimposed on the world map, the 5 critical components that make up your astrocartography profile, which impact your career, your relationships, your financial flow, your health, your family, friends, etc. I give numerous celebrity astrocartography examples, which is loads of fun, and it gives you just an idea of how powerful astrocartography is. And we also cover a common mistake that a lot of people make when they look up their astrocartography map online and how to avoid this mistake. And we cover your relocated chart, which is taking your birth chart and moving it to the location of where you're traveling or moving to. Again, all free. You can watch instant access at positivelocations.com. So have an incredible Pisces new moon. I wish you a beautiful week, and I'll see you in next week's Star Codes podcast. Lots of love.